Okay, guys, I just kind of wanted to go over this a little bit real quick. This module one activity, and this is the preparation for final project where you or select your two high resolution 300 ppi full color images. And what you're doing basically here is you're selecting images for your ad, for your magazine ad. So we'll take a look at these, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna use adjustment layers to correct any color casts and any other adjustments that you might be visually engaging. Now, remember, realism is the name of the game here, though. So don't throw any kind of weird, strange colors or effects on the images. We're looking for realistic images to portray your client, which is presumably someone who doesn't want to have their images distorted. Okay, for example, Amethyst Bay would probably want very realistic images. Okay, so and then over here you have your there's some resources right here, and I'm just going to show you how to do this assignment real quick. Okay, now remember, we need a layered Photoshop file, a PSD, that's Photoshop document. So we need to do the work in Photoshop and save it in Photoshop. Let me show you what I mean. And I say that as opposed to doing the work in Photoshop and saving it as a PDF. Okay, let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to go to Morgue File, okay, and I've got it open. So I'm going to go to Morgue File right here, and I'm just going to select an image. Okay, select that image, and I'm going to download it. And when I do, I'm gonna open it up right over here in Photoshop. Okay, and as it opens, I want you to take a look at this, a couple of things. Okay, I've got my layers over here, and I've got, well, you can't see my tools right now, but they're up there. And what I want to do right now is I'm just going to go to Image, and then I'm going to go to Image Size. Okay, I'm going to click that, and let's see what my size is. I'm at 5.4, but so roughly 5.5 by 6 at 300 ppi. So would this work for this assignment? Yes, it would. Now, don't forget that the destination size for our final magazine ad is roughly 8 by 10. So if you're going to use this image as a background image, for example, you're going to want to get it as close to 8 by 10 as possible. You can do that if you're close. Now, if the image is 3 inches by 2 inches at 72 pixels per inch, there's no way you can get it to 8 by 10 at 300. You can't make pixels. I mean, well, you can, but it's just horrible. It's a horrible practice. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you find images that are big enough. So what I suggest is find anything at 300 ppi. Now, some of the images you find will be close. Like this, we could probably work with if we wanted to use this for a background image because it's close to 8 by 10, close enough. Now, so what I want to do is we'll just say okay for this file. Okay. Now, and how do we do this? I want to show you how to do the assignment, and then we'll look at what happens if we get an image that's way bigger but 72 ppi. So first, what I want to do is first thing we'll do is we'll duplicate that background layer. Okay, and then in that layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my window and I'm going to go to adjustments. And here's my adjustments. So I'm going to come over here. The first thing I suggest doing is first doing a tonal adjustment, and that would be brightness, contrast, levels, curves, or exposure. I recommend doing a levels, and then going to do a color color adjustment layer, and that would probably be one of. Now you'll read about these, so you can decide once you look at the image which would be the best. But for example, first thing I would do is I would open this levels adjustment layer, okay? And as you can see in the layers palette, there's the levels icon. So I'm going to do whatever my levels are there. Okay, and then I'm just going to say okay on that. So there's that levels adjustment layer. Now there's my first adjustment layer. Now I said the second one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing. So let's find my adjustment window again. Here it is. This time I'm going to go to a color balance. Okay, so there's my color balance adjustment layer, and what we can do here is maybe we want to bring out the deepest, darkest blacks in here. So we'll adjust for that, or whatever the situation may be. Okay, so there's your adjustment there. All right, now this right here is the layers. And let me just pull that color away from there. So those things so that we can, come on now. Okay, I just want to isolate this so you can see exactly what we have here. We have a background copy, our two adjustment layers. Okay, so that's how you want to save it. File save as a .psd. Okay, that's how you want to save it with your layers intact. You do not want to flatten. Don't flatten. Okay, let me show you now. I said what I would do is I would open another image. Let's say you have an image that is very large, for example. And let's take this image right here and we'll open this in Photoshop. And actually, I'm just opening this. That's going to open in. Okay, and it's thinking about itself here for a second, and then it's going to open up. And when it does, I'll show you that exact same thing that we just did a second ago. This time, we're going to go. First thing we're going to do is take a look at the image. We'll go to image size, and we're going to go, okay, this one is big enough to use. Okay, so let me show you a different example. Hang on one sec. Okay, what I was trying to do is find an image that came in like this, and you guys might find these, so be aware. You guys got image size. So I'm going to come over here and I see this is at 72 ppi, but it's 27 by 17. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, can I use this? It's only 72 ppi, but the instructions say 300 ppi. Well, you might be able to use this. And in fact, you can, because the physical dimensions are so big. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, with this unchecked resample, you can just come down here and take that 72 right there and change it to 300. Okay, and you'll see what happens when Photoshop resamples those pixels and turns them into 300 pixels per inch. It's going to reduce the physical dimensions of the actual image. Okay, it's going to retain that wonderful quality though, but now it's usable in an 8x10 because it's at image size of 6.5 by 4.3, and that's something that we can most likely use in our 8x10 ad. Okay, so, and then of course you just come in here and you would do the same thing. You would duplicate your background, then you would go to and get your adjustments and do your adjustment layers, etc., etc. Okay, so what I don't, and then a save as a PSD. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to use a file that says anywhere that says image size. It's got to say 300, and it's got to be very close to 8x10. Okay, so in other words, don't give me a file that says it's 22 inches by 27 inches at 300 ppi. Okay, you want to resize that as closely to the 8x10 as you possibly can. Okay, conversely, in review, don't forget you can't take a image that's 72 ppi and let's say 2 inches by 2 inches and change it to 300 ppi. It won't work. Okay, you can always save down, but not usually save up. You can save up to a very minimal extent, but not anything drastic at all. Okay, so general rule of thumb is just save down. All right, so there you go. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Don't forget the deliverables for this assignment are a zipped file, and in that file you have 2 layered high-resolution PSD files. Those are the ones I just showed you. Okay, then you'll also have a PDF showing a before and after of each image. So make sure you take a screenshot of the before, then do the adjustments, take a screenshot of the after, because you'll be putting those in the PDF. Okay, and so what you'll have again is a final submission of a zip file containing 2 high-res PSD files, fully layered, and a PDF showing the befores and the afters. Okay, all right, guys, any questions at all, please let me know. All right, thank you.